Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to Ask That Podcast on YouTube. What we got here, this is from the 70s because it's a 20-cent cover. This is issue 7 of Marvel Comics Group, The Frankenstein Monster. Now, if I remember right, Frankenstein first appeared in an issue of the, was it the 60s? Late 60s, early 70s Silver Surfer series. And then he got this series, which, this is back when, in the 70s, the comics code restrictions got reduced a little bit. Because, okay, perfect example. Morbius, the living vampire that sucked plasma through his hand or whatever the fuck. That's because of the comics code. They couldn't have actual, real vampires, or like, there's some old Marvel comic from like the 60s, I think it was, where they have zombies, but they're called zombies, Z-O-O-M-B-I. So this is the comic code loosened its restrictions. So you got this, you got Tomb of Dracula, and you had Werewolf by Night were the three big ones. This lasted the shortest amount of time. I don't think this lasted more than about a year or two. Because I don't know if it was bi-monthly or what. I'm not exactly sure. I'll find out when I open it up. But this one was acquired at what I always call my con, Coast Con. It's kind of been to the most out of all the conventions I've been to. There was this dealer there, and he had a couple of short boxes of like bronze age, like 70s era shit, and a little bit of the 80s. And he was selling for a third guide. They had the guide price on them, when I say guide, I'm talking about Overstreet. I mean, yeah, I know Overstreet's not 100% accurate anymore, but it's fairly accurate. He wanted a third. So I went through there and I got some, the Secrets of Sinister House issues I've done earlier. I got an issue of Prez. I got a bunch of stuff like that. And, this was, I want to say I paid like $2 for this, but let's check it out. It's still in the original bag and board. I got it from the guy. Matter of fact, I'll be honest, this has been sitting on top of the hamper in my bathroom for a while now because I've been meaning to read it. I read a lot of comics while I'm taking a shit. Yeah, I know y'all really want to do that. This is issue 7, 20 cents, November. The Fiend and the Fury. Smash and destroy them all. You'll gasp at our soul-searing shock ending. 1973. It does. Oh, it's published monthly. Okay. Now, look at that art. Now, this is Gary Friedrich and John Buscema are the writers and the artist, the penciler. Inked by John Verpoorten. Coloring by Glennis Ween. Lettering by Charlotte Jeter. Roy Thomas is the editor. And I want to say this was kind of modern day, if I'm remembering right. We get some almost nudity here with this. The fuck, this hunchback looking motherfucker. Look at that shit. Roar. Roach Studios. Ah, cool. These are what, iron transfers? There's a cap one I'd like. A Popeye. Spidey. Panama Red, yeah, that's asking to get, if you get pulled over wearing that shirt, we're going to search your car. Budman! Oh, shit. Charles Atlas ad. It's really, and Mike Plug, if I remember right, did the art on some of these. He might have even done this cover, because the art looks it's a little different on the cover. I like Mike Plug. Grit. Never in my life have I met anybody that sold Grit or bought an issue of Grit. I always wanted to, but it wouldn't have worked for me because where I lived, I would have had to gotten my parents to drive me around to sell them, and they weren't going to do that shit. I mean, seriously, they weren't going to do that. It was enough of a hassle to get them to run me, a mile down the road to my buddy's house to go hang out. Much less, drive me around for an hour or so every day after school to sell Grit. Hell, most of my friends, that's why where I grew up at, because it's such a rural area, kids didn't really get bikes. We had four-wheelers, because it was that, or a horse. It was that rural area. You rode your four-wheeler to anybody's house, or a horse, I walked a lot. I had a three-wheeler, actually, but I walked a lot. Kind of Elvira-ish looking woman here. That's the one that was butt naked in the Vienna. Really dark colors in this. And that's the choice of the artist, I'm sure. Oh shit! Dracula! It's a crossover with fucking Dracula. He's been staked And that's what she's doing. She's getting Frankenstein to come on stake. Okay, that's kind of cool. Is this the honor house? No. We're the badge of the future in conservation. And then we get, which I'm assuming is a reprint of an old Marvel story from like when they were in mostly published anthologies. It's okay. It's not. Boom! Friends of Old Marvel. Oh, look at this shit. The Spidey coins. How much were they expected? $2. That ain't bad. It's kind of like a Tales from the Crypt-ish thing. And then we get the letters page, and then we get Cull, the Destroyer, King Cull. Gain weight, be muscular and admired. In the back cover. And so there's a little damage on the back arm, but yeah. This book's in pretty good shape. And it looks there. I need to read it. I have not read it. Like I said, it's been sitting in my bag. I meant to do this review a long time ago. I had a whole stack of these comics out, and they kind of got moved to the bathroom. I just never did read it. I saw it the other day. I was like, you know what? I ain't talked about that yet. And, you know, it makes good fodder for the channel. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give me a thought. Oh, you know what? Screw that. I'm going to add a little something here. I'm going to put out a thing to the comic fans out there who are watching this. No, there's a handful. Please, please, try something besides superhero comics. There's so many good comics out there nowadays that aren't cape shit. Superhero stuff. I mean, if you're a horror fan, there's so many good horror books out there right now, you know. And stuff like, see, that's the thing I miss is, you know, back in the 70s, even up until sometime in the 80s, Marvel and DC put out stuff besides just superhero stuff. I mean, DC had their war titles, their Western titles, their horror titles, you know. All of a sudden, there was great stuff. Matter of fact, for me, if I'm buying 70s DC stuff, it's not going to be a superhero book. More than likely. There's a few titles I'll pick up, but mostly it's going to be them other things because they were so well done. You know, Marvel was taking a chance about that. Now it's, you know, X-Men, Avengers, Spider-Man. Bleh. I'm sorry. I haven't given a shit about the X-Men since Uncanny 300. That came out in 95, I'm guessing, 96. That's when my subscription ran out, and I was like, yeah, fuck this book. I hadn't been enjoying it for a while before then, but yeah, so go out there, go to your comic shop, look on the shelves, look at the new book, and if you don't want to spend that $3.95 on a book that's not a superhero book, go look in the cheap bins. Find something in the cheap bins that's not superhero, and that's $1, 50 cents, quarter, whatever your cheap bins are at your comic shop. If they have them, not every comic shop has them, and take a chance. Like this, you just saw great art, good story, good stuff. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, all the other bullshit. Talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.